Hello, I'm Statman Cam, and this is my tactical analysis of how Manchester United overcame Leicester City to guarantee Champions League football for next season. On the last day of the Premier League season, United simply needed to avoid defeat to guarantee a place in the group stage of next year's Champions League. And so, as much as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insisted he would set up his team to attack and go out on the front foot, there were always going to be some more cautious tactical tweaks employed to ensure that United kept a clean sheet and thereby qualified for the Champions League. The two main tactical tweaks Solskjaer used were inverted fullbacks and committing fewer men forward than he usually would. In this video, you'll see examples of both of these tactics, as well as the performances of two individuals who were massively important to United in getting this result against Leicester: Nemanja Matic and Victor Lindelof. So, in this first example, you've got Paul Pogba on the ball. In normal circumstances, you'd expect Aaron Wan-Bissaka to be a lot wider, hugging the touchline and stretching the Leicester defence. You'd also expect Mason Greenwood to be around that black X, in between Leicester's defence and midfield, operating in the half spaces between Leicester's left wing back and left centre back, trying to get between that defensive line and create a shooting opportunity for himself. As you can see, Wan-Bissaka's a lot narrower, with Greenwood a lot wider. If you now look at the Leicester midfield line, you can see there aren't really any United players between that midfield and defence where you'd normally expect them to be. Rather than getting players in between the lines, United instead opted for a much wider approach, preferring safe possession, keeping the ball and restricting Leicester to having few opportunities on the counter-attack. This bowl shape United have created enables safe possession with low risk passing options, and it also makes it very difficult for Leicester to play out of defence and find a link into their front two. Rolling forward to when the attack breaks down, that ball goes into Pogba's feet and he's dispossessed by Jonny Evans. As the ball breaks to Wilfred Ndidi, note where Nemanja Matic is. Iheanacho's dropped a little bit deeper to try and be the link between the Leicester defence and Jamie Vardy so that he can try and get the ball forwards and launch a counter-attack. Matic, though, is tracking Iheanacho everywhere he goes, and by the time this ball breaks to Wilfred Ndidi, Matic is in a great position to simply cut out the pass to Iheanacho and spread that ball wide to Brandon Williams, stopping a Leicester counter-attack and sustaining United's own pressure. This was something United did very well throughout the game, and Matic was crucial in this, nipping in and intercepting passes to break up Leicester attacks and stop dangerous transitions. Our next example heavily features Nemanja Matic again. So in this situation, Bruno Fernandes is on the ball, and he's under pressure from James Justin, so Harry Maguire goes wide to offer a passing option backwards for him to get out of the situation. There are two threats here if Fernandes loses the ball. Both Vardy and Iheanacho are in good positions, so Matic, in the centre of that United defence, who's dropped into that back three, doesn't want to advance too much. Even though he could be a useful passing option, he knows that he shouldn't move forwards until that ball is secure. So, rolling that on, you can see Fernandes ends up losing that ball. Maguire's off screen to the right because he's gone back to offer the passing option, but as that ball breaks upwards off Bruno Fernandes, Matic knows that Iheanacho is the danger. He knows that he has to get across to cover Iheanacho and shut his space down so that he can't create a goal scoring opportunity for himself. As that ball drops to Kelechi Iheanacho, look at Matic's position. He's come across to cover the space, and by the time Iheanacho gets his first touch, which isn't the best, Matic is able to clear that ball away from the danger zone. Rather than letting this moment become a dangerous opportunity for Leicester City, Matic's good positioning here was vital to ensuring United didn't concede a chance. Moving on to our final example of Matic's game, you can see he's dropped deep to pick up the ball, which is fine because Victor Lindelof's pushed on to try and create an extra option in the midfield. As Matic takes his second touch, you can see Leicester's defensive organisation, which will be difficult to play through. What Matic does here, though, is something I've criticised him for not doing recently. He breaks that forward line. He breaks the first line of the press by taking a touch in between Leicester's two strikers. He baits Kelechi Iheanacho into thinking he's going to give that ball to Maguire, so Iheanacho makes a small movement to cut off that pass, giving Matic the space to get in between Vardy and Iheanacho. Rolling it on, notice how Matic keeps his composure after he's broken the first line of Leicester's press. He doesn't panic and play it wide straight away, he keeps hold of the ball. By the time he gets the ball here, he's got two options. Either a really difficult and hard to weight correctly pass into Bruno Fernandes between the Leicester midfield and defence, or he can go to Paul Pogba next to him, given the way Wilfred Ndidi is moving. Instead though, Matic takes another touch and he delays that ball. The reason being, he spotted James Justin and Wes Morgan in poor positions. They've stepped up and Mark Albrighton's a little bit deeper, playing Anthony Martial onside. He can also see James Justin's body position. He's pointing outwards towards that touchline, so he knows that if he can get that ball in between James Justin and Wes Morgan, there's no way it's getting intercepted, and Martial could be through on goal. So he sees the run from Martial and makes that pass. Rolling it on, you can see that pass gets through. Martial makes the run and he's through behind that Leicester defence. James Justin makes a brilliant recovery, but that move was all about the pass from Nemanja Matic. Matic had a brilliant game against Leicester. Out of every player on the pitch, only James Justin with 18 made more recoveries than Matic, who made 17. On United's team, only Wan-Bissaka made more tackles than Nemanja Matic. He really was vital in ensuring that United kept a clean sheet and thereby qualified for the Champions League. We'll now look at two more examples of another player who was absolutely brilliant, Victor Lindelof. If you've seen my video on Lindelof, you'll know how highly I rate his attacking intelligence and awareness of what's around him when he's in possession. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you go and watch it, but this awareness extends to his defensive game as well. It means he gets the right body position more often than not and makes the right decisions on when to press, when to close and where to show the opponent, as we'll see in these next two examples. So, in this first example, you can see Leicester are on the break. Lindelof is one-on-one against Jamie Vardy. Yuri Tielemans manages to get that ball through to Vardy, and now Lindelof has a decision to make. Rolling it on again, you can see Lindelof's got his arm out, he's making himself look as big as possible to try and show Jamie Vardy down the line. It may look like a small thing, but psychologically it has an impact. If a player sees someone big standing in the way infield, they're more likely to go down the line. So it may look like a small thing, but that body position is crucial in making sure Vardy goes down the line and doesn't cut inside, where he could be much more dangerous. Moving on again, and with pictures it's difficult to get a sense of time, but if you look at the United players you can see how much Lindelof has slowed down Jamie Vardy, because the other United players have got back. So now, at this point, look at Lindelof's body position. He's low. He's got his centre of gravity low so that he can move either side quickly. He's jockeying with Jamie Vardy. So that at this point, if Vardy cuts inside, or if he goes down the line, Lindelof will be able to match him. Moving on again, you can see Vardy goes down the line where he's much less dangerous, and Lindelof's body position again is nice and big to try and block any opportunity Vardy's got to get that ball into the United penalty area. Our final example shows Lindelof's defensive awareness and ability once again. In this situation, Mark Albrighton has got the better of Nemanja Matic, and there's a massive gap that Lindelof needs to close down. Watch also Jamie Vardy's position up against Wan-Bissaka. Moving on, look firstly at Jamie Vardy. He's worked some space away from Wan-Bissaka, so if that ball gets into the box, it's an easy tap-in for him. But look at Lindelof now. He's got his hands behind his back so he can't give away a penalty, and he's making himself nice and big to try and block any ball that comes into the area and make it look like Albrighton's got less space to put that cross into. Moving it on again, you can see Lindelof has shown Albrighton down the byline where there's most opportunity for him to stop that ball getting into the box. You can see he's still very big with his body position, covering up as much of the possible area that Albrighton can possibly put that ball into. Look again at Jamie Vardy. If that ball gets through to Vardy, that's almost certainly a goal. De Gea's protecting his near post, and Wan-Bissaka is frankly nowhere to be seen. He's in no man's land. Moving on again, you can see now Lindelof's big body position stops that ball coming into the box. He's able to get in front of Mark Albrighton and make sure that ball does not reach Jamie Vardy and therefore does not end up in the back of Manchester United's net. Through this example, you've seen Victor Lindelof's incredible defensive awareness, meaning he makes the right decisions at the right times in terms of what body position to use, where he channels attackers so that they're least dangerous, and how he generally reads situations on the ground. Now, Lindelof clearly has a weakness in aerial situations. He's not as dominant in aerial duels as you'd like, but in terms of defending on the ground, Lindelof is one of the best around. So, in this video, you've seen my tactical analysis of the strategies United employed to try and contain Leicester, keeping the fullbacks narrower and committing fewer men forward. And you've seen how Matic and Lindelof were absolutely vital to United keeping a clean sheet and thereby qualifying for the Champions League. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do smash the like button, subscribe to the channel and share us with your friends so the channel can grow as a community. In the coming days, I'll be uploading season reviews for the team as well as individual players. So if there's anyone you'd like to see featured, please do drop me a comment down below and let me know. Until next time, thank you.